One man convinced 17 million Britons to vote against their own economic interests using lies, fear, and a playbook borrowed from authoritarians worldwide. Within hours of winning, he admitted the central promise was a mistake, but by then it was too late. This is how Nigel Farage became the greatest threat to British democracy since World War II. I'm the Democracy Brief, where we cut through the spin to examine the real threats to our democracy. Today, we're looking at a man who spent 25 years perfecting the art of political destruction. Someone who's influenced everything from Brexit to Trump's victory, and who's now positioning himself as Britain's next Prime Minister. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Farage operates, why his methods are so dangerous, and what his current plans mean for the future of British democracy. Nigel Paul Farage, former commodities trader, 20-year member of European Parliament, and arguably Britain's most successful political outsider. But here's what makes him different from every other politician. He's never actually wanted to govern. His entire career has been about destruction, breaking down institutions, norms, and trust in democratic processes. Academic research from Lund University found that Farage uses well-chosen, cunning populist rhetoric, combined with frequent simplifications of complex issues and a recurring lack of substantial arguments. But here's the key finding. His credibility being damaged doesn't matter because his goal isn't to be trusted, it's to make you distrust everyone else. And it's working. After decades in the shadows, polling now shows Reform UK could become the official opposition, with Farage spoken of as a future Prime Minister. Let's start with the lie that changed everything. We send the EU £350 million a week. Let's fund our NHS instead. Plastered on a bus, broadcast on every news channel, seen by 78% of the British public, according to academic research. There was just one problem. It was completely false. The UK Statistics Authority called it misleading. The Treasury confirmed it ignored the rebate Britain received. Even Farage knew it was wrong. But here's the crucial moment. The morning after Brexit won, Farage appeared on Good Morning Britain. When asked if he could guarantee the £350 million for the NHS, his response was devastating. No, I can't, and I would never have made that claim. It was one of the mistakes the Leave campaign made. 17 million people had just voted based partly on this promise, and within hours of victory, Farage admitted it was a mistake. But when pressed on why he didn't speak out during the campaign, his answer revealed everything about his methods. When you've got your army facing their army, what you don't do is shoot your own side in the back.
Check one, check.
This is the Farage playbook in action. He knew the claim was false, but stayed silent because winning mattered more than truth. This isn't politics, it's warfare, where facts are casualties and voters are collateral damage. But the bus was just one weapon. Farage's real specialty has always been immigration fear-mongering. The infamous Breaking Point poster showing refugees fleeing war was described by historians as redolent of Nazi propaganda. Here's what Farage claimed about EU immigration versus the reality. Farage claimed uncontrolled EU immigration. Reality, the UK had control over non-EU immigration, which was the majority, and EU citizens had to be employed or self-sufficient.
Check one, check two, check.
But here's the real kicker. Post-Brexit immigration is higher than it ever was in the EU. In 2023, net migration hit 745,000, the highest on record. Farage got what he wanted, control, but immigration went up, not down. And just like with the NHS lie, the moment Brexit won, Farage disappeared. He resigned as UKIP leader, saying his political ambition has been achieved, mission accomplished, democracy damaged, responsibility avoided. Oxford academic research on democratic backsliding shows that populists like Farage seek to realise an anti-pluralist reform agenda, thereby fueling trends of democratic backsliding. In plain English, they don't just want to win elections, they want to break the system that makes fair elections possible.
Check one, check.
Here's how Farage has systematically attacked democratic institutions. When the High Court ruled that Parliament must vote on triggering Article 50, Farage supported the enemies of the people narrative. This wasn't just political rhetoric, it was a direct attack on judicial independence, a cornerstone of democracy. Farage pioneered what became known as the post-truth era. His approach: dismiss any expert who disagreed with him, economists warning about Brexit's costs, Project Fear, scientists concerned about climate change, global conspiracy. The strategy is simple: if you can't win the argument, attack the credibility of anyone making it. Academic analysis from the University of Leeds shows Farage uses anti-media election interference claims as a populist tactic. Just like Trump's fake news, Farage claims any negative coverage is biased, rigged, or part of a conspiracy. In the 2024 election alone, he accused the Daily Mail, Google, Ofcom, and TikTok of political interference, not because they were wrong, but because they were critical. This is where the story gets truly disturbing. Farage's Brexit campaign was funded by Aaron Banks, a man who had multiple documented meetings with Russian embassy officials throughout 2016. Here's the timeline that should terrify you. August 19th, 2016. Banks meets Russian ambassador at his London residence. August 24th, 2016. Less than a week later, Banks and Farage meet Trump in Mississippi. Banks spent approximately £450,000 funding Farage's lifestyle post-Brexit. Mrs. Justice Steyn, in her 2022 legal judgment, found that these meetings were probably not the full extent of Mr. Banks's meetings with Russian officials. The judge detailed evidence of ongoing business discussions involving Russian state-owned banks and gold mining deals. Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 US election questioned witnesses specifically about Farage's relationship with Trump associates. This isn't conspiracy theory, it's documented legal proceedings. But here's what the media gets wrong. They call Farage Trumpian. The timeline shows the opposite. While Trump was firing contestants on The Apprentice, Farage was perfecting populist tactics in the European Parliament. As one analysis put it, Brexit was the dry run, Trump's win was the remix. Farage showed Trump how to weaponize immigration, attack institutions, and use social media to bypass traditional gatekeepers. Farage openly boasts about building an international nationalist populism alliance with authoritarians such as Viktor Orban.
Check one, check.
This isn't British politics, it's part of a global assault on liberal democracy. After the 2024 election, Reform UK won 4 million votes, more than the Liberal Democrats. They're now the third largest party by vote share and rising in the polls as both Labour and Conservative support collapses. Farage's strategy is clear: position himself as the alternative when the current system fails. Every crisis, every disappointment, every broken promise by mainstream politicians feeds his narrative that the whole system is corrupt. Reform UK's policies give us a preview: net zero immigration, leaving the European Court of Human Rights, scrapping climate targets. But the real danger isn't the policies, it's the precedent.
Check one, check.
Farage has shown that you can lie to voters, take foreign money to fund campaigns, attack democratic institutions, and face no consequences. In fact, you can become more popular for it. So why is Nigel Farage democracy's biggest threat? Because he's proven that democratic norms are optional, that truth is negotiable, that accountability is avoidable. He's not trying to make Britain better, he's trying to make British democracy more like Viktor Orban's Hungary or Putin's Russia. A system where elections happen, but real power lies with those who can manipulate information, attack institutions, and silence opposition.
Check. Check one. Check. Check.
The question isn't whether Farage will try to become Prime Minister. He's already positioning for it. The question is whether British democracy is strong enough to survive him getting there. If this analysis has been useful, subscribe to the Democracy Brief for more deep dives into the threats facing our democracy. And in the comments, let me know, do you think British institutions can withstand another Farage campaign, or has he already done too much damage? I'm the Democracy Brief, and I'll see you next time.